Cam Earlham. Hey yo, I'm Pause Been Chillin', Burger Patty Grillin', Pause Been Chillin', Burger Patty Grillin'.
Welcome to the barbecue.
But yeah, so I want to continue the conversation. I want you to weigh in on separating the art from the artist. So are there any artists that you feel have kind of made you question, you know, whether you're actually a loyal fan to them or not based off of things they do outside of their, you know, music?
Recently I've been thinking about Michael Jackson.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And I'm still unsure of what to think. What is your take?
Honestly, I did not know about the documentary or anything until like it came out, to be honest. And there's always been speculation about his relationships with kids and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I just feel like as a community, it was kind of not accepted, but it's just like, oh, you know, I thought there are those rumors, but like he's a good artist. He's a dancer, singer. So like, that's okay. And people kind of pushed the other stuff to the side and kind of focused on his music, which, I don't know. I feel like that's a bad message to send to kids, that kind of like, oh, if someone's good at something, then anything else they do, then that's fine. And I think you're kind of seeing that message kind of go away in other areas, like Antonio Brown. He got accused of sexual assault, and I guess it's separating kind of the athlete from their, you know, what they do off the field, but he got released. So, you know, he's done. So they're kind of like, okay, you can't be doing one thing on the field and then off the field, like you're not representing this organization well, which I think a lot of artists or just like people in general should kind of have that same like outlook, that just because someone, you know, they're making money, they're rich, they have this, they have that, they're making good music, that doesn't excuse any other behavior that they have.
Right. I feel like some people think because Michael Jackson's dead that it changes it because he's not getting any of the profit. Yeah. But if the artist's alive, like listening to their music is supporting them, and so you can't do that. But I don't know.
And like death doesn't excuse what they did when they were alive.
Exactly.
And I need people to understand that, because like I feel like that conversation happens a lot where it's like that's exactly what came to mind. I'm like, no, he did bad things and like hurt people, and just because like he died, and I mean it's a very sad situation, like there is like that conflict, but that doesn't excuse what he did. Like I'm not about to ride for him just because like, you know, he passed away. Like I'm sad about it, like the situation, not necessarily like, you know, but I don't know.
You know, I feel like that because I don't know, because a lot of people were like, oh, because the charges like got dropped, then like he didn't do it. It's like, no, he died and that's why they got dropped. I think a lot of people forget that that it was, you know, I wasn't saying, oh, he didn't do anything, because I think there's been proof actually that he's like, he did. I don't want to name everything he did because it was terrible.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was horrible. But yeah, no, I feel like especially he wasn't super established either. I don't know. I think if someone like Kanye did stuff like that, or Kanye's bad in his own way, but if he did stuff like that, I feel like people would like cancel him. He would probably be homeless. So, I don't know.
See, even then, like that's also been an interesting conversation. Like Twitter, you know, is, you know, the place for that kind of conversation. But with like cancel culture, I think a lot of the discourse about it is that like it doesn't really exist, because I mean there have been plenty of cases recently, you know, where people have done things where like they don't deserve, you know, whatever opportunity comes their way, but like it still ends up happening, like, you know. And then taking it back to the music with like Sabrina Claudio and like the whole Twitter account, she's still, you know, pretty popular, going on tours and stuff like that. So like I think the whole concept of cancel culture isn't like, people are becoming
culture. Yes.
Like there are consequences and people are talking about it, but I don't think it's necessarily those consequences aren't being acted on. Like people are still doing fine. So
I definitely feel that, because I remember, I think it was a sophomore when she came out, for real. She had that one song like Cold or Frozen or something like that.
Oh, I don't.
You could tell I'm not a fan.
Well, yeah, no, and see, that's the thing. Like, I was a really big fan. Like, I watched her YouTube and like, you know, stuff like that before she even like really got bigger. But and then that happened. I was like, come on now, why? Like, it's so easy to not be a terrible person, and yet
it is. I feel like people are like, oh no, it's so easy to be bad. It's really not. Just like, don't say anything.
It's not a rite of passage to be racist. Like, you just don't be racist.
That is the motto for the rest of my life. It is not a rite of passage to be racist. I love that. But Sabrina Claudio, did you hear about the situation?
No, I did not.
Yeah, no, she said the N-word, right? On Twitter.
And she basically was running a Twitter account that was like bashing black women and
I didn't know all that.
Yeah, no, that's what it was pretty much for. Like, a lot of it was directed towards black women specifically. But yeah, there was a lot of the N-word being passed around, and all that good stuff.
And I feel like black people were the ones that kind of put her on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I feel like that was her biggest fan base. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
That happens a lot.
Yeah. So what do you think, DJ Dill?
I think that's pretty messed up. I don't think she should have done that, but I don't know.
Jeez.
I can't believe she's still touring though.
Yeah, like I think she just did a video or a song with like Sir.
Yeah. I love the song too. That's what we were talking about. I love the song.
And like, her music is still great and stuff, but it complicates things when, the artist does something that they shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
So,
and I found out it was her on the track. I was like, man. Dang.
Yeah.
It's her. Wow. Because she can sing.
Absolutely.
Talented, but racist.
Exactly.
Running a Twitter account that was bashing black women.
And I don't even really remember if she said anything about the situation after it came out. Like, she may have.
I think she apologized.
Okay. Yeah,
I
couldn't remember.
Apologized. I vaguely remember her apologizing. But it's like, how you're sorry you got caught at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're not genuinely... empty apologies. Miss me with all of that. No.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I'm trying to think who else. Another artist that is kind of done bad stuff, but people still ride for them besides Kanye.
Well, there's Amir from Brockhampton.
Who
just
we talked about.
Yeah.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you guys want to speak on that.
I haven't listened to his album. I wasn't planning on it, but I just
me neither.
think it's interesting. People are calling it like a resurrection album, and I don't really understand how that works, but I don't know.
Wow.
I don't think I'm gonna listen.
Yeah. And I think, like, it was so weird because, I had followed all of them, like, way back when, before everything happened. And so, like, I completely forgot that I was following him on Instagram. And then I, like, saw his picture come up. I was like, oh, absolutely not. And I had to, like, quickly unfollow because I'm like, no, I'm not giving you the time of day. Like,
wow.
No,
I feel like that is a situation where cancel culture, it really kind of, you're conscious about that kind of thing. And I feel like, as we get older, we kind of like are, different generations are kind of coming into the who's in charge or whatever. I feel like our generation kind of has that mindset where if someone does something wrong, they need to be punished for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, trying to think.
Yeah, or like, the whole conversation with like comedians and things like that, where they're like, oh, I can't be funny without, offending people. Like,
Dave
no,
Chappelle.
people do it. People are funny without offending people all the time. So I don't know what you're doing wrong, but.
Yeah, I saw that video of him, I think like 3 weeks ago maybe, he said F word.
Dave Chappelle?
Yes. Have you seen it?
No, I didn't.
It was like, he really thought he was like onto something with that joke. I was like, that's like, okay, like it. And I don't know, because he did bring up the fact that the N-word isn't like never censored, like on air. Like I remember, I think the Boondocks, they do not censor the N-word, but they censor every other slur. So I think that's also interesting.
I didn't think about that. Well, specifically with the Boondocks.
There's an episode of the Boondocks. There's a scene where they say the N-word like 10 times in a row. You hear like the full word, and they say all these other like words, and it's like bleep bleep bleep. Like it's you don't really think about it. That's the thing. I don't know what kind of message that's trying to put out to the people, but I don't know. I'll get back to you on that because the Boondocks is coming back.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. Yeah. All right, we're going to go into another music break, and we'll come back to you guys with some more hot topics.